Hello, welcome. I hope you have all been having fun at Turning the Foxes today, and welcome to our performance time tonight. We have 4 fantastic performers lined up for you tonight, and we're going to get started right off the bat with one of our own from Meridies, Lady Draper, who is the storyteller. So, Lady Kateryn?
Good day, good gentles. I hope you are enjoying this fine Fate of the Foxes. I have 3 tales for you today. The first comes from Ireland, in a time when giants roamed the land. There was once a giant by the name of Cuchulainn. He was a big giant, a mean giant, a scary giant. And he would stomp around all of Ireland, making sure everyone knew he was the biggest, meanest, scariest giant who had ever lived. There was also another giant in Ireland at the time, and his name was Finn McCool. He was a quieter, gentler, more civic-minded giant. For he would help farmers lift boulders out of fields, help build causeways, that sort of thing. Well, when Cuchulainn learned there was another giant in Ireland, he knew they had to see which of the 2 was the best giant. And of course, the only way to do that was to fight for that title. And so he stomped over to the east of Ireland, only to hear that Finn had gone to the west. He stomped to the west of Ireland, only to hear that Finn had gone to the south. After a while, Cuchulainn grew quite puzzled. It almost seemed like Finn was running away. But that couldn't be true. No giant would ever run from a fight. Finn, meanwhile, was running out of places to hide. But he had a magic power. Since he had once touched the salmon of wisdom and put his thumb to his mouth, whenever he faced a conundrum, he only need put his thumb in his mouth, and the solution would become apparent. So he did so now, and he realized, of course, I should go ask my wife. And so he went home, and she said, "Don't worry, we will take care of this." She sent him out to fetch her some rocks, and meanwhile she made her own preparations. First, she made pancakes. Now, normally we refer to pancakes as cakes that are baked inside of a pan, but these were special cakes. For instead of the cakes being baked inside of the pan was baked inside of the cakes. And then she made cheese, but you would not want to eat this cheese. It was gray and crumbly and runny. And she set that up. And then she got out a box and set up some blankets in it. And when Finn came back, she told him to place his rocks by the cheese. And then she told him, "And now you'll be getting into the cradle." "I beg your pardon, woman." "I said, get in. This is the cradle. You're going to get in the cradle and pretend to be a baby." "Woman, I am Finn McCool. I am a giant of Ireland. I will not get in a cradle." "Very well," said Una. "Have fun fighting Cuchulainn." Finn McCool got in that cradle. No sooner had he done so than there was a knock on the door. Una opened it, and who should be there but Cuchulainn? And Cuchulainn said, "Is this the home of Finn McCool?" "It is," replied Una. "Well, I have looked so is your husband home?" "Indeed he is not, for he heard there is a giant by the name of Cuchulainn who wants to fight him, so he is looking for him." "Of course," said Cuchulainn. "When I go to fight Finn, he's going to fight me, and we keep missing each other. I hope he doesn't think I've been running from him." "Well, there's nothing for it. I will just wait here until he comes home." "All right," said Una. But can you do me a favor?" "What is it?" "Well, usually when Finn is around, I ask him to help lift heavy objects. Could you lift something for me?" "Of course, I can lift anything Finn can." Well, there's a breeze coming in and it's kind of cold in here. Would you mind moving the house? I beg your pardon? You know, lift up the house and turn it around so the breeze is no longer coming through the door. Oh, but I understand it's probably too heavy for you. I can lift anything Finn can lift. And so he put his arms around the house. And he strained and he groaned and he lifted the house and he turned it around and set it down. And he was thinking, Finn does this every day. Meanwhile, Finn, back in the cradle, was thinking, he just lifted up my house. And so when Cuchulainn came in, Una said, "Are you hungry?" "Indeed I am." And so she brought him one of her special pancakes. And he bit into it. And a tooth came out. He said, "Woman, what is this that you have given me?" "Oh, I'm sorry. They're special cakes I make for Finn, but I understand if your teeth aren't strong enough." "I can eat anything Finn can eat. Give me another cake." And so she got him another one of her special pancakes with a pan inside of it. He bit into it, same result. Well, at this point, Finn was getting bored. And he said, Mama, now look what you've done. You've woken the baby." "Mama, I'm hungry." And so she got him a pancake. This was an ordinary pancake without a pan inside of it. And he ate it with no problems. And Cuchulainn said, "I should very much like to meet this son of Finn McCool." "All right," said Una, "but be gentle. He's just a baby." And so she helped Finn out of the cradle. And Finn looked at Cuchulainn. Finn looked up at Cuchulainn. Finn looked way up at Cuchulainn. Meanwhile, Cuchulainn looked down at Finn McCool and thought, this is a toddler? And so Finn looked at Cuchulainn and said, "Can you squeeze water from a stone?" "Of course not. Nobody can do that." "My daddy can. I can do anything Finn can do." And he picked up a stone that Finn had brought earlier, and he squeezed, but no water came out. "And you call yourself a giant," said Finn. "Even I can squeeze water from a stone." And he picked up that gray, runny, crumbly cheese, and he squeezed it beneath his hands, and gray, runny water fell out. Well, at this, Cuchulainn realized he had an appointment, yes, in Egypt, maybe to help them build pyramids or something. And he said that he had truly been inspired by Finn's civic-mindedness. And he was never seen in Ireland again. And ever after, Finn McCool always listened to his wife. Thank you. The next tale is about 3 young men, wastrels, rioters, gadabouts. They would just sit around in the tavern, drinking, singing, not doing anything productive with their lives. And one day, when they were deep into their cups, they decided that they were going to speak with death and give him what for. So they went out and they decided to find the oldest man they could, because being old, he's probably closer to death. And they asked him where they might find death. And the old man said, "Under yon oak tree you shall find what you seek." Well, at once the 3 young rioters began to run and reached the tree. And there they found a pile of gold florins on the ground, new coined, 8 bushels of them as they thought. No longer was it death those fellows sought, for they were all so thrilled to see the sight. The florins were so beautiful and bright that down they sat beside the precious pile. The wickedest spoke first after a while. "Brothers," he said, "you listen to what I say. I'm pretty sharp, although I joke away. It's clear that fortune has bestowed this treasure to let us live in jollity and pleasure. Light come, light go, we'll spend it as we ought. Who would have thought this morning was to be our lucky day? If one could only get the gold away, back to my house, or else to yours perhaps. For as you know, the gold is ours, chaps. We'd all be at the top of fortune, hey? But certainly, it can't be done by day. People would call us robbers, a strong gang, so our own property would make us hang. No, we must bring this treasure back by night some prudent way and keep it out of sight. And so as a solution, I propose we draw for lots to see the way it goes. The one who draws the longest, lucky man, shall run to town as quickly as he can, but keep things dark, while two remain in hiding here to mark our heap of treasure. If there's no delay, when night comes down, we'll carry it away, all three of us, wherever we have planned. He gathered lots and hid them in his hand, bidding them draw where the luck should fall. It fell upon the youngest of them all, and off he ran at once towards the town. As soon as he had gone, the first sat down beside the other. You know that you can trust me as a brother. Now let me tell you where your fortune lies. Here's a lot of gold that is to be divided equally amongst us three. Nevertheless, if I could shape things thus so that we shared it out, the two of us, wouldn't you take that as a friendly turn? But how? The other said with some concern. He knows the gold's with me and you. What can we tell him? What are we to do? Is it a bargain? Said the first, or no? For I can tell you in a word or so what's to be done to bring the thing about. Trust me, the other said. I won't betray you. I'll be true. Well, said his friend, you see that we are two, and two are twice as powerful as one. Now look, when he comes back, get up in fun to have a wrestle, and then, as you attack, I'll up and put my dagger through his back while you and he are struggling as in game. Then you draw your dagger too and do the same. Then all this money will be ours to spend. Divided equally, of course, dear friend. And then we can gratify our lusts and fill the day with dicing at our own sweet will. Thus these two miscreants agreed to slay the third and youngest, as you heard me say. The youngest, as he rolled over, up and down within his heart, the beauty of those bright new florins, thought, Lord, if I could only have all that gold to myself alone, could there be anyone beneath the throne of God so happy as I then should be? And so the fiend, our common enemy, was given power to put it in his thought that there was always poison to be bought, and that with poison he could kill his friends. To men in such a state the devil sends thoughts of this kind, and has a full permission to lure them on to sorrow and perdition. For this young man was utterly content to kill them both, and never to repent. And on he ran, he had no thought to tarry. Came to the town, found an apothecary, and said, Sell me some poison, if you will. I have a lot of rats I want to kill. And there's a polecat, too, about my yard that takes my chickens and it hits me hard. But I'll get even, as is only right, with vermin that destroy a man by night. The chemist answered, I've a preparation which you shall have, and by my soul's salvation, if any living creature eat or drink a mouthful, ere he has the time to think, though he took less than makes a grain of wheat, you'll see him fall down dying at your feet. Yes, die he must, and in so short a while, you'd hardly have the time to walk a mile. The poison is so strong, you understand. This cursed fellow grabbed into his hand the box of poison and found a man who lent him 3 large bottles. He withdrew, deftly poured the poison into 2. He kept the third one clean, as well he might, for his own drink, meaning to work all night, stacking the gold and carrying it away. And when this rioter, this devil's clay, had filled his bottles up with wine, all three, back to rejoin his comrades sauntered he. Why make a sermon of it? Why waste breath? Exactly in the way they planned his death, they fell on him and slew him, 2-1. Then said the first of them when this was done, now for a drink. Sit down and let's be merry, for later on there'll be the corpse to bury. Then, as it happened, reaching for a sup, he took a bottle full of poison up and drank, and his companion, nothing loath, drank from it also, and they perished both. There is in Avicenna's long relation concerning poison and its operation. Trust me, no ghastlier section to transcend than what these two wretches suffered at their end. Thus these two murderers received their due. So did the treacherous young poisoner, too. Thank you. I have one last tale to tell you, and it is a very brief tale. In fact, it is a tale of tales. There was once a man by the name of Billy O'Byrne. Billy O'Byrne went to market one day to sell his wares, and as the evening came on, he realized he would not get home before dark. And so he found a farmer and asked if he could stay the night. Why, certainly, Billy O'Byrne, said the farmer. Come in and be welcome. And he prepared a fine meal for him, and then he said, in exchange for my hospitality, Billy O'Byrne, you can be telling me a story. Ugh, I know no stories, said Billy O'Byrne. Oh, everyone knows a story. Come, you must have something. No, I know no stories. Well, perhaps a fairy tale from your childhood. Oh, I don't believe in fairies. They're nonsense. I see, said the farmer. Well, then you can be telling me a joke. Oh, I don't know any jokes. Surely, Billy O'Byrne, something interesting must have happened to you at some point in your life. No, said Billy O'Byrne. Nothing interesting has ever happened to me in my entire life. Very well, Billy O'Byrne. Then if you have no stories, you'll be bedding down in the barn this night. And so poor Billy O'Byrne had to bed down in the barn that night. Well, no sooner had he fallen asleep when he was awoken by the sound of 3 terrible bogles, and they rushed in and they raised a terrible ruckus, and they called out, Billy O'Byrne, Billy O'Byrne, if you'd not be having a seat in you, you'd best build us up a fire. And as fast as he could, Billy O'Byrne built up a fire. Billy O'Byrne, Billy O'Byrne, if you'd not be having us eating you, you'd best boil us up some water. And as fast as he could, Billy O'Byrne boiled up the water. Billy O'Byrne, Billy O'Byrne, if you'd not be having us putting you in that self-same pot and boiling you up for our supper, you'd best run as far as you can and as fast as you can, and you find the tallest tree that you can, and you climb up that tree, and you do not come down until morning. Well, Billy O'Byrne found the tallest tree that he ran as far as he could and as fast as he could, and he found the tallest tree that he could, and he climbed up that tree, and he did not come down until morning. Well, as luck would have it, a month later, Billy O'Byrne was selling his wares at another fair, and who should he see but that self-same farmer? And the farmer said, Welcome, Billy O'Byrne. You may be thanking me now. Thanking you? Said Billy O'Byrne. Thanking you? Do you know what happened to me in the barn that night? And he proceeded to relate the events of that terrible, terrible night. Why, Billy O'Byrne, the farmer said, that was a fine story you've told me. Forever after, whenever anyone asks you if you have a story to tell, now you will. With that, he vanished before Billy O'Byrne's startled eyes. And let me assure you, my friends, that forever after, Billy O'Byrne always had a story to tell. Thank you very much, and thank you to the event of Foxes Fête for hosting me and giving me this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, Lady Kateryn. Wonderful stories. I've heard you tell those before, but I love them all. Thank you for participating with us and for entertaining us tonight. Thank you very much. Well done. All right. And I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. And so up next, we have another of our own from Meridies, Master Mathias Blackett is here and has a wonderful, wonderful singing voice and writes some very witty and very entertaining music. Master Mathias, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I've got a few pieces tonight. At a little bit of change of pace, I'm not going to start off singing. A good friend of mine and I wrote a piece quite a few years back, and I figured that I would honor him by presenting you with this piece. It is a tale from two perspectives of Vikings as they approach the land of Lindisfarne to raid the churches. We roll on westward, oarsmen bending backs to wind. Our target treasure at the edge of sight. Our hot blood races, sinews tighten. Steel-fixed gazes on the goal of our delight. Horizon scans the eastern sky, stands dark against the sea. Yet in my vision, dragon prows speed west. For all my brethren I am watcher, minding all I see, protecting all within my isle so blessed. Now hear me, Odin, in this hour of warrior's greatest need. Deliver these poor wretches to my hand. Sweet God of peace, deliver us from Satan's northern host, and leave aside their blood-soaked thirst for war. Against their hard steel stay their hands, and bind them from our coast. Allow them not to desecrate our door. Now in the mead hall of the Vikings, songs are sung by Odin's mighty sons, as all these warriors go and win the day. They raise their glass to those for whom their Bifrost races run. Valhalla their reward, their warrior pay. That poem was written by Master Edward of Glastonbury, called The Saxon. I would like to next present a piece I wrote several years ago. It is a Meridian drinking song. This is a filk to a very popular SCA song, Life's Blood. Drink to the red tower's guard, who keep watch while the ravens soar. Start at the mark of the 0 mile, and follow the drums to war. Drink to our northern keep, and the griffin's mighty roar. Drink to the day when the hammer falls with the crushing might of Thor. Drink to the western hills, where a warrior's heart is made. Drink to the mountains stained with blood by the sable axe's blade. Drink to our eastern lance, as it stands prepared to fight. Drink to the ships with the silver sails and the dreamstone shimmering light. Drink to our southern port, where the raging waters flow. Drink to the side of the Osprey's jess, and prepare the ships to row. Oh, drink to the lush green fields, where the lilies bloom and blow. Drink to the hydra's fearsome gaze and its radiant golden glow. Now drink to the black and white, as our shield wall takes the fore. And sing as we shine like the stars so bright, and sound the drums of war. That was Drink to Meridies. The next piece I will be performing is a song from the 1800s, made popular by the Newfoundland band Great Big Sea. It is called Old Brown's Daughter. Oh, there is an ancient party at the other end of town. He keeps a little grocery store. The ancient's name is Brown. He has a lovely daughter, such a treat I never saw. Oh, I only hope someday to be the old man's son-in-law. Old Brown sells from off his shelf most anything you please. He's got juice harps for the little boys, lollipops and cheese. His daughter minds the store, oh, it's a treat to see her serve. I'd like to run away with her, but I don't have the nerve. And it's Old Brown's daughter is a proper sort of girl. Old Brown's daughter is as fair as any pearl. I wish I was a lord and mayor, marquis or an earl, and blow me if I wouldn't marry Old Brown's girl. Well, poor Old Brown now has trouble with the gout. He grumbles in his little parlor when he can't get out. And when I make a purchase loan, she hands me the change. That girl, she makes me pulverized. I feel so very strange. And it's Old Brown's daughter is a proper sort of girl. Old Brown's daughter is as fair as any pearl. I wish I was a lord and mayor, a marquis or an earl, and blow me if I wouldn't marry Old Brown's girl. Blow me if I wouldn't marry Old Brown's girl. Now Miss Brown, she smiles so sweetly when I say a tender word. Oh, but Old Brown says that she must wed a marquis or a lord. And I don't suppose it's ever one of those things I will be. But by jingo, next election I will run for Trinity. And it's Old Brown's daughter is a proper sort of girl. Old Brown's daughter is as fair as any pearl. I wish I was a lord and mayor, a marquis or an earl, and blow me if I wouldn't marry Old Brown's girl. Yes, blow me if I wouldn't marry Old Brown's girl. This next piece I'll be performing is something that I spent a couple of months writing. It was meant to premiere at Gulf Wars 2020. We all know how that turned out. So this is my attempt at a Meridian war anthem. This is called Stallion's Blood. Polish armor, sharpen blades, and steady now your hand. Soldiers of Meridies will fight for sovereign land. Battle starts tomorrow, so be sure to get your rest, and the war hooves of the stallion shall resound inside your chest. March along, Meridies, oh march along to war. Charge our lines with weapons raised, we cannot ask for more. Our presence on the battlefield will be our foeman's bane, for the stallion's blood is in our veins. Yes, the stallion's blood is in our veins. Black and white will face the foe and hold the swords on high. Stars upon our banners soar and blacken out the sky. Archers ready, take your aim, the fighting now begins, and the stallion's blood will quell your fear and drown the battle's din. March along Meridies, oh march along toward, let your inner fire blaze and face the coming horde. Take your place upon the shield wall, tax your brawn and brains, for the stallion's blood is in our veins. Yes, the stallion's blood is in our veins. Quiet fills the countryside, the fight has finally ceased. Hope that now our families will once again know peace. We sound the horns of victory and finally take our ease. Now we sing the song of stallions, let it echo through the trees. March along Meridies, we're marching home from war. Spread our glory, sing our praise from mountains to the shore. Tell our tales of victory across the southern plains, for the stallion's blood is in our veins. Yes, the stallion's blood is in our veins. We're the stallions of Meridies. Thank you. I'm realizing I'm running a little bit ahead of schedule, but this will be my last piece that I have prepared for tonight. It is a little bit of Meridian history from when Kenneth Grey won his throne for the second time. Upon the field of battle stood the few remaining knights. 4 more rounds of combat in the tourney left to fight. All were eager, it was said, to see who'd stand alone and take their rightful places on the heir and heiress throne. Now fierier were the battles neath the sweltering summer heat. 2 knights approached each other on the field to finally meet. Sword on sword or spear on spear, they wondered. Then they heard that glaive on glaive decides this bout. It was the royal's word. The marshal cried, "Lay on!" and so the fighting had begun. With weapons waving wildly, then one knight began to run. He charged into the other knight, their armor loudly clashed. The second knight, to gain his footing, made a backwards dash. But as these steps continued, they made a quickened stride that sent their bodies hurling up against the list-field's side. And beneath a tent beside the field, there sat a countess fair, whose earl had come to fight for her and take his place as heir. Looking to the field, she saw a terrifying sight. The knights were racing toward her, and she too would join the fight. She closed her eyes and braced herself, and then she heard a cry. A hold was called, and she was safe. She was not going to die. Her earl had leapt in front of her, no helm upon his head, prepared to face the coming knights and take the blows instead. And so that fight went on and ended. Battles came and went. The earl awaited his next bout beneath his countess' tent. He then went on to take control upon the tourney field, but this time with his helmet on, and so his fate was sealed. His blade had struck the final blow, and now he stood alone to take his rightful place that day upon the prince's throne. The tourney finally over in the sweltering summer heat. The prince and princess turned and saw their populace to greet. Among these noble gentles was the legendary knight, to whom the prince was squired and who taught him how to fight. "I could not be more proud of you," he said with tear-filled eyes, "for you have shown to all these people where true chivalry lies. To take a blow in combat is a pastime many share, but to risk your life for someone else is something few would dare. And with this shows the glory, fame, and honor you shall bring. I cannot wait to see what you accomplish as our king." Thank you very much for having me. Thank you so much to the Foxes staff for giving me a chance to perform again.
Thank you, Mathias. I always enjoy hearing you both storytelling and your poetry and your music. Wonderful. Thank you very much. All right. And so now we are expanding our reach a bit. And we have someone that many of you that are here in Meridies may not have heard before, but Master Dahrien Cordell from Northshield has agreed to come and be one of our performers. And Master Dahrien, welcome to Meridies.
Hello. Let's see if that plays with the light better. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad to get back to Meridies and play with a number of my friends there, make some more. Looking forward to our Bardic Sprawl later this evening, the interactive Bardic. So I'm going to begin with a song, lyrics that my lovely wife, Margaret Melis de Kintelach, wrote. She calls this A Serious Bard's Lament, and she used a very popular tune from here in Northshield, Hey Ho the Griffin, by John Chandler. Well, I heard my tune, but the words were all wrong. Oh no, it's Dahrien. I heard my tune, but the words were all wrong. I could not believe what he'd done to my song. And then to my horror, the crowd sang along. Oh no, it's Dahrien. His version had scansion that was erratic at best. Oh no, it's Dahrien. His version had scansion that was erratic at best, with a few dozen extra descriptive words and syllables and paragraphs and with circles and arrows thrown in the back of each one, thrown in with the rest. The crowd sank to mumbles, he sang on with zest. Oh no, it's Dahrien. And then the tune wavered, he can't keep the time. Oh no, it's Dahrien. And then the tune wavered, he can't keep the time. The beat was inconsistent, and so was the rhyme. I truly believe that it should be a crime. Oh no, it's Dahrien. And in the last verse, he was changing the key. Oh no, it's Dahrien. And in the last verse, he was changing the key. He added a punchline. Hey, Mizey, do you know why the laurel across the road? Well, no, I don't either. They won't let me in the damn meetings. He added a punchline. The crowd roared with glee. Well, at least I can say that he filked it from me. Oh no, it's Dahrien. Whoops, there goes another melody. Whoops, here comes a Stoic's tragedy. Whoops, here comes another Dahrien filk. Ba-doop-a-doop-boop, boop. Well, so my next song, I've decided to sing one in praise of the good lady who wrote that one. I call this Margaret Melis. Sea ladies from Hispania's south, a dark and lovely mystery. Proud daughters of the German kings, set men's hearts aflame. But soft turn now to Scotland's shore, wherein a quiet beauty lies. Their flesh and spirit both enmeshed, she soothes the maddest soul. Unseen would rest the finest jewel upon that snowy breast. A single drop of water to the lips of drowning men. When Margaret Melis smiles down a child's unburdened joy, then Solomon's great song of songs falls short of moment's need. As wise men from the eastern lands are said with words to mesmerize, so too when Margaret Melis speaks, all other wisdom fails, as hills which lie at mountains' feet, wear shrouds of deepest shade. Her skill with paint and pen obscure the works of other worthy men. Mark you how Margaret Maylies so well doth serve her fellow man. When others give the courteous no, from her lips here are yes. Christ's servant, so her name marks her a roll she follows faithfully. As angel's voice sent Joan to war, so Maylies is called to peace. Learn well the grace and courtesy that flow from every breath and deed. Example for the finest queen, they do well in following her lead. Turn you away from any base or less than worthy thought or act, and down upon full bended knee give praise to Margaret Maylies. I give praise to Margaret Maylies. I love you, my Magsie. Okay. Well, my next couple of pieces are from Dahrien's Little Primer. And this one is Dahrien's Little Color Song. Red is the color of blood, and roses in mother's garden, the apple when it is ripe, the kiss of my own true love's two lips. Red is the color of blood. Blue is the color of woad, and marguerites in mother's garden. Clear sky when the sun reigns high. Feathers of the bluebird's two wingtips. Blue is the color of woad. Yellow is the color of sun, and daisies in mother's garden, the eyes of my precious cat. Water coming out twixt my two hips. Yellow is the color of sun. White is the color of milk, and snowdrops in mother's garden. Butter when the milk is churned. And the face of the bone dye neath two black pips. White is the color of milk. Green is the color of grass, and everything in mother's garden, jade glinting in the bright light, stormy seas neath two sailing ships, and green is the color of grass. These colors mother taught me, I will teach you in the garden, Repeat them, learn them well. Then perhaps you earn a treat, 2 sips of the drink Mother made for us. So repeat them, learn them well. These colors Mother taught me, I will teach you in the garden. And the next song in Dahryen's Little Primer is Dahryen's Little Latin Song. I am a monk of Sans Nomen, can't keep time in Greek or in Roman, so a quick verse or two should set things askew. See the seeds of the trouble I'm sowing. I met a man out walking, talking in a tongue I had never heard. Did not recognize those noises, poor man, simply sounded absurd. Shook my head and raised my hands up to mark our linguistic breach. Then he clapped and said in Latin, church tongue also out of my reach. Nul genitrix, menagnius ve, pontifex regnum, or altari Dei. I recognize the weave of homespun robes of brown and hood to match. Saw that cross upon his shoulder, marked him as the fisherman's catch. Not since I was taught of Babel's tower rising up to God have I heard such a weirdling gabble. Might be a priest, but he still sounds odd. Agnus dentati, ad hoc non nobis, in altus Domine, ad altari Dei. A flowing voice, both deep and sonorous, from somewhere inside his hood. Maybe if he'd said the Mass, then I just might have understood. Though we had 3 tongues between us, 2 were his, but 1 was mine. So I left him at that crossroads. Someone had to draw the line. In excelsis, sed nomine, Kyrie eleison. Okay, Davock, even with none of the sound coming through here, I know that a wise and scholarly man such as yourself, world-traveled, is saying, Dahryen, Kyrie eleison, master, that is Greek. Well, I tell you, Davock, and other learned ones, we're speaking of a medieval pilgrim here from Western Europe. The place they'd have heard the phrase Kyrie eleison was in the Mass, and that makes it Latin. Ad altari Dei. I met a man out walking, talking, hard of hearing and blind as well. My Lord teaches difficult lessons. That pilgrimage was hell. Said more Latin things. Sing it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, time for just 1 or 2 more. Then I'm gonna bring us in with the pomposity song. favorite popular song with myself, as thankfully, well as others. But remember, this has not been written about any particular person or even any particular broad category. So if you think that you recognize yourself or one of your friends here, I didn't say it. Who am I to argue? A laurel strode into our shop, held their opinions high, detailed the flaws in all our wares, including where and when and how and why. I'm a laurel. And our heads popped off. We couldn't believe the crap that we just heard. Don't take yourself so seriously. By God, you're just absurd. Our battle plan seemed good to us. Fun and victory for our clan. Until that night he called it dung. Suicide to a man. I'm a knight. And our heads popped off. We couldn't believe the crap that we just heard. Don't take yourself so seriously. By God, you're just absurd. Now, what do you think you're doing there? You're just splashing like a fish. Now, move aside and let me, dear, show you how to dry a dish. Oh, well, you know, I am a pelican, dearie. And our heads popped off. We couldn't believe the crap that we just heard. Don't take yourself so seriously. By God, you're just a bird. I wanted to write a damn fine verse for a master of defense, but his demand for Gigante style just made no god-darn sense. Clearly, you are writing for a sport fencer. I am a master of the defense. And our heads popped off. We couldn't believe the crap that we just heard. Don't take yourself so seriously. By God, you're just absurd. Don't you see this cornet? I don't care if you're the queen. I ran this joint full 30 times by AS-17. I was totally royal, dude. And our heads popped off. We couldn't believe the crap that we just heard. Don't take yourself so seriously. By God, you're just absurd. Now, I, the one who am singing here, share wisdom at your call. Have only hope you'll do what's right. I know best, Meridies. Now that is all. 'Cause I'm a bard. And our heads popped off. We couldn't believe the crap that we just heard. Don't take yourself so seriously. By God, you're just absurd. Don't be such a pompous, silly old ass. By God, you're just absurd. And thanks to Brendan O'Corey, who helped me with the ideas for the Pelican and Royal Peer verses, Master Jethro and Still, and a few of his friends for the idea that got me started on the Masters of Defense verse. 2 minutes remaining, just enough time for this. The medieval bardic hero rap. I specialize in your laughter and I ride a pimpin' steed. Medieval bardic hero here to satisfy your need. Don't you gripe about my scansion or my dropping off notes. I'm a styling kind of Saxon, singing better than your goats. When you're out there farming bean fields and you don't know what to do, this medieval bardic hero comes around to satisfying you. With the tunes that'll move you and the cleverest word play. Got damsels falling over, lords swooning all day. Got just one final message for my fans and groupies, yo. When your bardic needs a new life, Dahrien Cordell's the one you know. So invite this erstwhile Saxon to your fire or your feast. He loves you, entertains you. He's a comic wordplay beast. Peace in, y'all. 'Cause this bardic will never end.
Thank you, Master Dahrien. I knew that was going to be entertaining. He always is. And so thank you for that. And so I'm very glad you were able to come and perform for us tonight. All right, we have one more, And this time we're going a different direction out of Kingdom. We're going to Atlantia. And Baroness Nezhka Orshinaia. Baroness Nezhka, thank you for coming tonight. And here you go.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Huge thank you to the Shire of Vulpine Reach and to all of those in Meridies and watching. I am so excited to be here. It's actually raining here in Atlantia, which put me in mind of a song that I wanted to start with, something to be a little bit more upbeat. And of course, as all of those of us know who are in the SCA, it's always tough to have money when you have a wonderful hobby like this. So this is a period song called We Be Soldiers 3. We be soldiers 3, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, to all good fellows wherever they be, with never a penny of money. Here, good fellow, I drink to thee, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, to all good fellows wherever they be, with never a penny of money. We be soldiers 3, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, lately come forth from the low country, with never a penny of money. Here, good fellow, I'll sing you a song, sing for the brave and sing for the strong, sing for the living and those who are gone, with never a penny of money. We be soldiers 3, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, to all good fellows wherever they be, with never a penny of money. He that will not pledge me this, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, pays for the shot, whatever it is, with never a penny of money. We be soldiers 3, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, lately come forth from the low country, with never a penny of money. Charge it again, boys, charge it again, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, as long as you have any ink in your pen, with never a penny of money. We be soldiers 3, pardonnez-moi, je vous en prie, lately come forth from the low country, with never a penny of money. Lately come forth from the low country, with never a penny of money. Oh, I don't know about you, but I love a good song that kind of gets you up and gets you moving. And speaking of moving, I came from Kiev. I didn't know if you knew that or not. I am Nezhka Orshinaia, and I had an instructor there, a wonderful, wonderful lady, a princess actually, named Anna Vsevolodovna. And if you've not heard of her, I hope that you go back and read of her. But I wanted to sing for you a song of her story. She taught me for many years. And her story inspired all of us because she was one of the first to go as a diplomat to the Byzantine Empire and come back and teach those of us who are women how to read and to write and rhetoric, grammar, mathematics, all of it. So this is a song that I sing for her as a teacher that has passed on. Long on her knees she continues to pray, Princess of Kiev, she's foreseen this day. Her fate is to wed a man she knows not, a prince of the Greeks. She's resigned to her lot. Duty and honor are the lessons she's learned as the candle continues to burn. My prayer for this day is for guidance and strength, to be dutiful, loving, and steadfast I yearn. By your grace may I be a light for the way. May the candle continue to burn. Flames light shows the word stuck in her hand. Her Byzantine prince has been sent from his land. Her world stands on end. She knows not what to do. Her life's single purpose has been torn in two. She reads over again the words to confirm as the candle continues to burn. My brother, these days for guidance and strength, to be dutiful, loving, and steadfast I am. By your grace may I be a light for the way. May the candle continue to burn. She finds new purpose, her heart's new delight, a school for young women to read and to write, Latin and Greek and practical skills. At the start of each day, praise each student's fulfilled. She tends to each one with care and concern as the candle continues to burn. My prayer for these days for guidance and strength, to be dutiful, loving, and steadfast I am. By your grace may I be a light for the way. May the candle continue to burn. She's devoted her life to her students and God, and with her last breath she smiles at the thought. The last rites are given, the candles are light. I came to keep vigil with her through the night. I take up the prayer I so often have heard as the candle continues to burn. My prayer for these days for guidance and strength, to be dutiful, loving, and steadfast I am. By your grace may I be a light for the way. May the candle continue to burn. By your grace may I be a light for the way. May the candle always burn. I hope that you get a chance to learn more about Anna Vsevolodovna, but I continued on my journey from Kiev to here in Atlantia, and I encountered many people who lived in fear, and lived in an odd sort of fear of monsters. For example, I sat down at a campfire with a couple of different people, and, well, let me just explain. Teeth, paws, gnashing of claws, our monsters are worse than yours. An Icelandic Viking, a Hun, and a Scot sat round a fire and stirred a large pot. The Scot told them both how their water sulkies pull all their victims down into the seas. Teeth, paws, gnashing of claws, our monsters are worse than yours. The Hun and the Vikings scoffed at him aloud. Please, don't tell us, of this you are proud. What lies in our lands, foul creatures and fell, of evil that walks to you we will tell. Teeth, paws, gnashing of claws, our monsters are worse than yours. You don't, our Kal-bardrs, the Viking did cry, can kill any human with a look from their eye. They bid you to tell of their death to a cat, that feline's their father, so never do that. Teeth, paws, gnashing of claws, our monsters are worse than yours. You don't know a thing of the evil that treads the step of the Jiangxis, the step of the dead. It's a vampire form of the one you hold dear, draining their life forces ever draws near. Teeth, paws, gnashing of claws, our monsters are worse than yours. A shadow fell over the fire just then. A voice of the Roos spoke up to the men. You don't know of creatures so dark and so vile. Our beast will fill up your stomach with bile. There's dragons and ghosts and of course Baba Yaga, whose stone house and skull fence are in so many sagas. If Skorzak don't kill you, they'll drive you insane, and with Bulk and Draconic you're living in pain. Teeth, paws, gnashing of claws, our monsters are much worse than yours. A Zhangxi, a Selkie, and a Kal-bardr spoke with a dragon down a giant fire. They spoke of the humans and all of their deeds, blaming the monsters for their evil deeds. Teeth, hands, shredding of lands, our monsters are worse than yours. Swords, knives, shredding of lives, our monsters are much worse than yours. There's a little bit of truth to that. You know, in my journey from Kiev to Atlantia, one of the things that I came across was a type of monster that these last were speaking of, an invasion force. But not all creatures are evil. For example, in Iceland, they have the Guardians, the 4 Guardians of Iceland. They are wonderful creatures that guard all of the island from invaders. Stood alas on a cliff's edge, the great fleet she beheld. At her side stands her mother, and to her she tells, worry not of these invaders, my daughter, you see, for the guardians of Iceland stand watch over thee. To the west stands a giant made of mountain and hill, with a staff formed of iron he unshakable still. Stands tall along the coastline for invaders to see. Proud guardian of Iceland stands watch over thee. To the south roams a great bull of immense strength and size. He walks through the waters, anger filling his eyes. At any who would dare to disturb our land's peace, proud guardian of Iceland stands watch over thee. To the north a great eagle guards us from the skies, ever watching and swooping at our enemy flies. She commands the air around her, and our enemy sees. Proud guardian of Iceland stands watch over thee. But my mother, we live here, our home is the east. What can there be left to turn back our enemies? You see that they are many. Can we claim victory? Lest we have another guardian keeping watch over these. Listen closely, my daughter, for here in the east stands tall a broad dragon, this magnificent beast, with fire and with claws, eyes always to the sea. Proud guardian of Iceland stands watch over and bright. To the other a shield fits, she's not ready to fight. With her own spear and shield, she stands ready anew, saying, Guardians of Iceland, we now shall be two. With her own spear and shield, she stands ready anew, saying, Guardians of Iceland, we now shall be two. I love that story. It is so inspiring to me. It truly is. And I wanted to let you know that even though when I left Kiev and I left after my wonderful teacher passed, I became a student to another teacher, Master Johann von Silithern here in Atlantia. And we have, well, a bit of an interesting and unique way of looking at things via students and teachers. We do a lot of challenges. Okay, he challenges me a lot. Let me explain. I have a master who truly believes his challenges all make me quake at the knees. But he doesn't know half of my plots and my schemes, so I'm laughing maniacally. He said, I've an apprentice who gripes and complains about sonnets and Dahrien and true their refrains. So I'll fix up a challenge composed of all three, and I'm laughing maniacally. I'll cause trouble, shenanigans, challenges too, and I'll laugh maniacally. I'll see to it my songs will wreak havoc on you, and I'll laugh maniacally. An event's coming up with a smackdown on sight. This is the day for my challenge to write. He won't know what's coming, too late it will be. Now I'm laughing maniacally. I'll cause trouble, shenanigans, challenges too, and I'll laugh maniacally. I'll see to it my songs will wreak havoc on you, and I'll laugh maniacally. We came out to challenge each other that day with events that were short and their points they conveyed. One word shouted out, Sestina, the worst poem ever invented in life, loudly, and we're laughing maniacally. I caused trouble, shenanigans, challenges too, and I laugh maniacally. I'll see to it my songs will wreak havoc on you, and I'll laugh maniacally. It occurred to us both just what we had to do, and we thought better of it and went for a brew. But I couldn't help writing this song, so you see, now I'm laughing maniacally. I'll cause trouble, shenanigans, challenges too, and I'll laugh maniacally. I'll see to it my songs will wreak havoc on you, and I'll laugh maniacally. I have a master who truly believes his challenges all make me quake at the knees. Boy, does he have another thing coming. So I'll just have to continue to plot and to scheme and to laugh maniacally. I'll cause trouble, shenanigans, challenges too, and I'll laugh maniacally. I'll see to it my songs will wreak havoc on you, and I'll laugh maniacally. Yes, I'm laughing maniacally. Meridies, I have so enjoyed our time together tonight, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you for that. I hope that you get a chance to come out our way and to visit if you can. And until then, Slanja.
Thank you, Nezhka. Wonderful, as I fully expected. And I've heard Johann laugh maniacally, so I know he does it. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. and wonderful. I've got exactly what I was hoping for tonight, and we had a wonderful variety and wonderful performances from everyone. I hope all of you have enjoyed it as much as I have, and I certainly, like I said, I have certainly enjoyed all of the performances we've had tonight. And so I am the Honorable Lord Davock Walkere. I have enjoyed being your host, and thank you for watching.